Welcome to another episode of THOTS Podcast. We are not thoughts, but we have thoughts. True, honest opinions towards success. Join us for another candid conversation and valuable insight on achieving success in life and navigating through today's culture. Hosted by myself, Zakira Casado, along with some incredible guests. We're here to explore you on your journey of triumph. Let's dive in. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of THOTS Podcast, where we're not thoughts, we have thoughts. We just had to get your attention, which is true, honest opinions towards success. I am so excited about this guest that I'm about to bring on because is definitely one of those game changers. He is out of the Raleigh, North Carolina area. His name is Steven David Elliot. He is the CVO of Rockstar Connections, and he's also the CEO of Steven David Elliot Group and a host of a lot of other businesses. So instead of me trying to remember everything, I'm going to bring him on so we can introduce you all to this powerful mind. Hi, Steve.
Well, thank you for the great introduction. I've known her, guys. Let me just talk to the audience. I've known her for 13 years now. So she was there at the beginning when what I do was just an idea, and I think that the part of the path to success, and we talk about success on this show, is your mouth writing checks that you're asking cash. Am I allowed to speak that way?
Yes, you are fine. Yes.
Okay, great. So I am the CVO, and that means Chief Visionary Officer of Rockstar Connect. I created that company with my wife, Sarah Elliott, and she is the Chief Operating Officer of Rockstar Connect. Rockstar Connect is over 500,000 people have attended Rockstar Connect events. All over the United States and Canada, many of them hundreds of times. We are currently in 78 cities around the United States, conducting 78 cities per month. And, that seems like a big number, but before COVID, we were in 250 cities. But we're currently adding 25 new events per month around the United States. We're the largest business networking event company in the world, and what we do is we make people in their areas locally famous, and we provide people with meaningful connections so they can end the loneliness and isolation experienced by entrepreneurs. I'm also the founder of the Steven David Elliot Group, which is a real estate company here in North Carolina, and we assist people in buying and selling residential real estate. In addition to that, we build and develop affordable housing for people here in North Carolina. My other company is RAM, Rockstar Asset Management. It is a national agency, financial firm. And we're at 78 events now around the country every single month. And that sounds like a lot of events, but we actually were doing 250 events per month prior to COVID. I am also the founder of the Steven David Elliot Group, which is a company that helps and assists people in buying and selling residential real estate in North Carolina. And we also build and develop affordable housing for people to purchase to live in, and also for investments so they can create generational wealth. My other company is RAM, Rockstar Asset Management, which is a national financial service firm, and we help people get out of debt and stay out of debt for life, and we teach people how to be their own bank so that they're no longer dependent on the traditional financial system, so they're able to break the chains of the financial system.
Wow. And just so y'all know, I did not realize I've known Steven this long, but I have to give a shout out to Rockstar Connect because when I moved here from New Jersey, that's how I kind of started getting acclimated in business here. I had connections because of the healthcare company I was with, but that company, you have to network. And so I remember going to these events. There were so many professionals. I've definitely gained some business from going to the events, and it just is really awesome to be able to connect with like-minded people. Then you also had food somehow by the restaurants. I thought it was an
Sometimes.
sometimes in the beginning it was almost time, and it was like I'm like, man, this is an plan where we had to like those people's page, so you were helping to increase their bottom line and their following, and at the same time helping entrepreneurs to connect. So, and I also still have my iPad. I don't know if remember that
Yes.
I won an iPad, and I still have it.
Well, that's terrific. Well, with Rockstar, Rockstar Connect, what we do is we work with rock stars all over the country to help make them locally famous so they can better serve their community. We don't create rock stars, we work with rock stars. The attendees of the events, uh, we pay them in meaningful connections because we're able to deliver that, and then they're successful. And then we help those people become fans and fanatics of the rock star, the host, so that they can become brand evangelists and tell them how great they are so they can do business with them and everyone can grow connections with one another. My company, we're the roadies. We're building the stage on which the rock star stands, and enabling the audience, the fans, the attendees to come to the events. We do everything to make a successful event, and also sphere of influence management, coaching, teaching. Because if you don't do something consistently, you're not going to be successful. So that's what we're involved with Rockstar Connect. I think the other things are sort of self-explanatory. If anybody wanted to know about Rockstar Asset Management or what I do in real estate, they can reach out to me off camera, and that information will be provided to you. But we are very much in serving the entrepreneur population.
Absolutely. And let's talk about business. And you talked about consistency. Why do you think, Steve, most people who start in business don't make it? Like, why do you think most people aren't successful in the area of business, whatever their industry
Well,
is?
I mean, I think it's because they're all talk and no action, frankly. Uh, share. People talk a lot of BS, but let's I'll share a relatable story. When I was in middle school, I hung out in the lunchroom with a bunch of my buddies, and we would talk about starting a band. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be rock stars and have our own band, and we're going to perform in the biggest auditoriums in the world. We're going to get all the girls, and we're going to get all the money. Only problem is none of us could play a musical instrument. None of us could sing, and nobody was willing to learn how to play an instrument. So it was all a bunch of BS, and that's the way a lot of people are. Essentially, your mouth has to be able to write checks, like I said, that you're asking cash, and actually act and do something. Don't aim for perfection. You get it started. So many years ago, 10 years ago, I sat down with you and we were in an IHOP, and I told you exactly what I was going to do.
You did.
Right. And you had a friend at the time, and I was trying to bring him in at the beginning of it, and he was just skeptical that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
He very good guy, but just skeptical,
Yeah.
and he missed out on a tremendous opportunity because Rockstar Connect is an extremely valuable company that does tremendous things for entrepreneurs all over the United States.
Yeah. I tried to put him on. He wouldn't listen. So, that's a friend of history. But anyway,
Right.
but anyway, so when you share your vision, because your vision was big, and let's say for this particular person, it was too big for them to grasp. What do you say to the person when you're sharing because that can be discouraging for a lot of people. Some people might go, oh, this person doesn't believe in it, and then they stop because of something that someone who can't see the vision for themselves, they just don't continue. What made you discontinue, even though and I'm sure he wasn't the only one that might have been like, are you serious? But how do you handle that, and why you kept going?
Well, I only make opportunities available because I'm trying to help people. That
Yeah.
is motivation. So my two motivations since I'm a child is I wanted to be well liked, and in addition to that, I wanted to help people. So I wanted to be loved and I wanted to help people. And then my whole life up till this moment was to accomplish that. I ask people to share what their goals are with me, and so I can help them achieve them. And then they share them with me, and I listen to them and help where I can help them to achieve it. And if their goals align with my goals, I try to bring them into what I'm doing. Frankly, I don't need them to, but because my motivation is to help people and I consider that a success, that's why I asked that question. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Absolutely. I remember my mentor a long many years ago, he would say, I need you, but the you don't have to be you. In other words, I need people to really extend my vision, but you might not be the people that I need. Just because you say no doesn't mean that that door is closed. So I totally get
Absolutely.
that.
I mean, with your friend, I was just trying to reward him for good things that he had done for me, and he just wasn't open to that. He wanted cold hard cash, probably,
Yeah,
and that's not how relationships necessarily work. At least not in my world, in the world of networking. Networkers are entrepreneurs, and an entrepreneur to me, um, yeah, it has something to do with money for some people, but for me, I want to create something that never existed before, and take the risk in order to do that to benefit other people in society. That is my major motivation in absolutely everything that I do. Because in other careers, I have made money and they were much easier paths, but I want to impact as many people as possible. And while I'm alive, I want to do that because, when you die, no one's going to remember you. They were going to remember what they think you were, but that's not you. The
yeah,
people that we can impact are right now, right in front of us.
yeah. And one of the things I wanted to just bring more light on what you said is you mentioned that on this journey, right, of you trying to find the right people, um, one
Let's do a stop here. I got to get this dog quiet.
okay.
Could someone?
So something you mentioned that I absolutely think is a major issue with people who are quote unquote wannabe entrepreneurs is they get caught up in the money. And don't get me wrong, every entrepreneur wants to make money, right? And I think that's any goal of business. But in we said that it's something that's never been done. In the beginning stages, it's not going to just be tangibly there in the beginning, but how do you sustain is what a lot of people would think. And so in that aspect, do you focus on the money or do you focus on the task at hand and the goal at hand? And if
I
so, why?
I focus on moving forward. I don't focus on money at all. Uh, Money is not a motivator for me. Money is very easy to accomplish. That's an easy thing.
Yeah,
There's money laying out there everywhere. You just got to go get off your ass and walk and pick it up. Creating something that hasn't existed before, like an artist does. I think of myself as an artist. I have to create. That's my motivation. So with success, uh, you cannot be successful unless you're already happy.
ooh,
So the problem is, a lot of people say I'm on the road to success, and when I get on that finish that travel, I'll be happy. But they'll never be successful because the happiness is the success in and of itself.
right. Because all the money in the world, if you're not happy, you're not successful.
I mean, that's why you see people that are very wealthy and celebrities that commit suicide because they don't see themselves as a success, and they can't because they're not happy. So
Right.
one of the things that's helpful if you're in a situation that's preventing you from being happy, maybe it's a relationship or or a job. I don't even say the word. Uh, well, it's a 3-letter word, but it's a 4-letter word to me. And let me just preface that by saying, I'm 55 years of age. I have not worked for anyone since I'm 21. I have not had a resume since 1986.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I will tell you, I was 1 year
that's
old.
yeah, right. So when you're happy, when you're happy, you're able to accomplish things because
Yeah.
you're not caught up on the money. Because no one's going to kill you for not having money, right? No one's going to murder you for that. They're not going to throw you in prison. It's not a crime. Uh, you can scale down what you spend.
Yeah.
That's choice what you spend, but that creation is huge. See, it goes back to, like, you have great kids. You have wonderful kids. I've known your kids since they're babies. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to care when you pass. They're not going to care how much money you made.
Mm-mm.
They're going to care about how much time you spent with them and the values that you instilled in them.
Yeah.
They're not going to remember. It's pretty hard to remember back presents that were bought from you by your parents or think money that was spent. So it
Yeah.
really isn't about money. That's how some people measure their success. But I measure my success not by how many toys I'm going to have when I die. It's how many friends that I will have had and that I've impacted.
Yeah. That will still come to the burial even if it rains.
Right. I mean,
You know?
I 100% believe that. But when we're all dead, maybe there's a heaven, maybe there's not. But we won't be here on this earth.
Yeah.
And we're playing a game. We're all children, and we're playing a game. We're playing a game. Have you met some pretty childish 80-year-olds? We're right. So we're all children, and we're children until we die. And we have to learn the rules of the game. And when you know the rules of the game, you can break the rules.
Right.
So there's so
Right.
many people out there that they don't learn the rules of life, and they're going to fail. So that's why you have to be happy, because if you're happy, you're already successful.
Yeah.
Truly successful people are happy. So you
Yes.
should be working on being happy first. There's an excellent book by David Burns called The Feeling Good book. It's on
Yes.
cognitive therapy, and it teaches you how to make yourself happy. I mean, there's actually ways you can do that, and that's by doing things. And guess what? You can't be great at everything.
Mm-mm.
It's not possible. So if you're trying to achieve greatness in something that you will never achieve greatness in, maybe that's the wrong path to go down. I like to do things in an easy way and an efficient way, that ways that don't necessarily require money in order to do it.
Right.
I like to set the bar for people for success as something they can achieve. So in our events, the people that attend the events, I pay them to come to the events. I pay them in meaningful connections because I know they can accomplish that, and I can deliver meaningful connections to them. And when they make those meaningful connections, and you and I are a meaningful connection, for example, they've already had ROI, they've had a return on investment. And because of that, they're going to reward me by knowing me, liking me, trusting me, referring me business, referring opportunities. I'm in the opportunity business amongst everything else. So let's have a discussion of what you're trying to achieve, and perhaps I can help you achieve them.
Absolutely. I love everything you said because I know I'm about beyond too much, but the part in one of her, she's acting like she's getting interviewed, and the question is, "What is your goal?" And she says to be happy, because there are people who walk around here and they're like, we call them the living dead, where you are so caught up in bills, so caught
Hmm.
up in working, and I'm not knocking anyone with a job. I too have been an entrepreneur where I say I'm unemployable at this point. But
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know that it's not always peaches and cream in that entrepreneurial arena. Sometimes you have bad days, but like you said, if the core of your being is happy, it's a journey and not this. I don't know how to describe it, this rat race type of mentality.
Yeah, so you have to reframe what success is. So it's very easy at the end of the day. You go, "Wow, that was a bleep bleep, shitty day." That's what it was.
Mhm.
But if you were to sit back and reflect on it, go, "Okay, well, two things that did not go my way, but I had five things that went my way." Are you going to negate the success because two things didn't go your way? It just doesn't make sense. It's not logical. You're preventing yourself from being happy for the successes that you did accomplish.
But do you think we are taught this? And it depends on your upbringing in some aspects. But you know, when a kid comes home and they have a report card and
Mhm.
it's 10 grades and only two of the 10 are bad grades. And then that parent focuses on the bad grades and not the other eight
Yeah,
that they
they
did
do.
well.
Well, I totally get. I don't focus on any grades. Like my children, they focus on grades. That's what they do. I don't have to worry about that. My kids are straight A students, and I'm not a helicopter parent, and I don't provide homework help, and I don't need to because I'm not stressing them out.
Mhm.
They succeed for their own benefit and because they want to do so.
Right, right.
Report cards are meaningless to me. You're able to get good grades. That means you have a skill for getting good grades. There can be someone else that's more intelligent than you that fails every single class because those courses aren't designed for them.
Mm,
Uh,
right.
we're it just that's the reality of it. On my end, I'm uncoachable. I'm unhireable, and I'm incorrigible. Just and that's by design. I don't want to be influenced by anyone else because I want to create something that does not exist or
Yeah,
has not existed before. And when I'm done with one thing, I want to do another thing that's
yeah,
in my mind. I'm a visionary
right.
officer. I have ideas, and if I can't put those into motion, I want to give them to someone else.
Mm.
Let them do it.
Because the idea is still so the way I see ideas, and I usually get them late at night. That's when they come rapidly, maybe because the world is quieter. But it's I feel like they're in the skies, just there, right? So if you don't implement it, it still needs to be implemented. So I love the idea that you'll give it to someone else. But that brings me to wanting to know, how do you balance multiple businesses?
Well, you're a cook and I'm a cook.
Mhm. You really are. I be like, I feel offended sometimes when I see your meals. Like, why did y'all can't eat all of that? Why didn't I get an invite?
So I make, you'll see I make at least four items in a meal.
Yeah.
At least four items because I'm going to have a vegetable, I'm going to have a salad, I'm going to have a protein, I'm going to have a carbohydrate. I make all those simultaneously because
Mm,
I plan and I do it. I don't try to do things that are too elaborate that I'm going to fail at, that I'm not going to be successful in doing unless I have the knowledge of doing it. So it behooves me to gain that knowledge. If
that
I want
makes
to make
such a good.
something that's more complicated, I go and I do the research on how to do that.
Mm,
And so
that's
many
such a good. That's so good.
right? So they're books, and now we have the internet. We have those things. That information is there. I get very frustrated when people are like, "Oh, what is that? And what's that concept? And what's that word?" I said, you're.
Google it.
I said, you're a cyborg. Pick up your phone and get that information. And now we have AI, which is incredible for gathering information
Yes. It,
because there's this solution out there. It's AI is really hive mind.
what do you mean?
AI is not sentient. AI is everything that all of us have shared on
Yeah.
the internet being put in one place so that we can build upon one another and essentially speed up creativity. I generally what I do is I start from a point where whatever I do, I can do on my own, whether I need someone else to do it or not.
Yeah.
And then as I find people that I can align with that understand my vision, which are the type of people that go to my events, then I can bring them into my greater purpose and do something bigger.
Right. That makes sense.
But if I'm alone, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. Maybe not at the same level, but I'm going to do it. Also, I don't believe in failure anymore. There's no such thing as failure because everything that happens in your life, it brings you to where you are now.
Right.
So when you decide your why, and my why is I want to help people and I want to be well liked. I mean, I just have to do projects that are going to accomplish that.
Right.
I talk to people and they're doing very elaborate things that require lots of money and lots of time, and they're looking for investors. I mean, I've never had an investor. I've never used anybody's money because you
Right.
don't need money to do things that are simple. And
Right.
simple things sometimes are the best things in life. Those are the things that are going to make you happy. The simple things make you happy. And if you're happy, you're already successful. So
Yeah.
then you can just play the game.
Why do you think, Stephen, people? So before in the past we had Google, and
Mhm.
I use Google for how I've lived my entire life and figuring out stuff is Google. Now we have AI. Why do you think people still ask, "What does this mean?" and not utilize the tools? Do you think they don't know, or do you think they're lazy?
I just think they're not living in the moment.
Mm,
They're not living in the moment, and they're not seeing opportunity. When you're given a technology that can make you more productive and make your life easier, you use it. I mean, people are like, they're somewhat Luddites. They don't like technology, but I don't see them washing their laundry on a wash.
Okay, so why do you think people, knowing they have had Google in the past and now they have AI, they still ask why, or they still ask or act as if they don't have the same tools or access? Do you think it's because they don't know that they have those tools, or do you think it's because they're lazy?
And I don't think it's that they're lazy. It's just they're not living in the moment. They're not aware. Uh, they need to stop talking for a little while and listen to themselves. They have to be. Some people think using tools are cheating, but we used to wash clothing and pound them on rocks, and then we used a washboard and we would wash the clothing on that, and now we use a washing machine. And using AI is simply just using the collective intelligence of our society. You still have to be discerning. It's not easy to use AI. Do you use AI? Yeah, I can't hear you, but it's
Yes, I use AI. I do enjoy AI. I do use it for lots of wording. I do see some flaws, but I definitely utilize it because I would think it's just an incredible tool. I had a guest on prior to this who really broke down that it's the gathering of all of us and all of that. But what are your thoughts on it?
no, I think it's a fantastic tool. I use it all the time. I use it to plan events and parties and gather my thought and create menus. It's a massive time saver. And
Yes.
when I save that time, then I can interact with the people that I care about, my family, my friends, my network. So 100% use it. Definitely use AI. But I think people put obstacles in their way because they don't really want to accomplish their goals. It's a lot of talk. It's like those guys in middle school sitting at the table.
Yeah. That's trying to, and I really love your analogy before when I asked the other question, not to jump back to that question, but I never thought of cooking big meals as a form of preparing multiple things, right? And then thinking about AI and all of these tools, social media, Google, all these things. Um, and you saying that they're not in the moment, right? Do you see any negative things that can come from things AI and these tools that we have now?
I mean, I don't concentrate on that. Leave that for philosophers and scientists and people that are not living in the moment. I'm for today, uh, and my interactions with you. I want to be in the moment with that, and then
Mhm.
maybe we have a transcendent moment, like a eureka moment or an epiphany. I don't believe in failure. I don't think there is such a thing as failure.
Yeah, especially with
And
the
people
fact
are,
that you learn. I learn more when I fail,
I mean,
ironically.
people. people are afraid of failure. But if it doesn't exist, if you feel it doesn't exist, and it's all part of the process. Do you watch that movie recently? I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's with an Asian woman, and it's everybody everywhere all at once.
Mm-mm.
The concept of the movie is that we live in multiverses, and
Okay.
that all time happens at the same time and in different places and different universes. You're leading a different life, but you're leading them all simultaneously.
Mm.
So at any time in your life, even at what you consider to be your worst, you're successful somewhere else at the same exact time.
Mm.
I,
I
that's
love
my
that.
that's my belief. So you know that you're going to lead a life, and during that life, so many things are going to happen, but they're all happening at once. And if study quantum physics and you study Albert Einstein, that's why we can talk about time travel. It's all happening at once.
Do you believe
And
in time too?
do I believe? I believe that there's not a question of time travel. I mean, certainly there seems to be a lot of things that indicate that there is time travel, but I do exist that all believe that all time exists at the same time.
Or
You know,
let me
creation.
or different
Creation.
dimensions?
My feeling is that the creation is also exists at the same time as the end of the universe.
Mm. I
If
can
we're
see
going to
that.
make it macro, but the moment that you and I met is existing at the same time that we are speaking right now. So how can there be failure, right?
Mm.
And if
Right.
I'm successful now, I'm successful then because it's happening all at the same time. And maybe we're getting a little too philosophical for our listeners.
No,
And
they
probably,
need this. They need this, Steven.
but that's my belief. It's like people say, well, it's failure, but people pay for an MBA. I mean, I would imagine MBA probably costs six figures now to learn about business. But
Yeah.
someone who opened a business and struggled and that business closed probably knows more than anybody with an MBA for far less money,
Yeah.
far less struggle.
Far less because the trials is what teach you. And even if you pay the six-figure education, you're never going to really know until you actually are doing it.
Until you're doing the application. But
Right.
also at that point you may become programmed because education can frequently be programming.
Yes. I
Yeah.
know you
So
started with that, but yeah.
and if I had just stuck with my education or maybe what a guidance counselor said, I never would have done the things that I've done today. The reason why I did, one of the reasons why I did Rockstar Connect is someone told me that's a terrible idea. And I said, well, then it must be a good idea. And I doubled down on it. I wasn't even really thinking of applying it.
I love that. I love that because I used to say I was too smart to fail. I mean, too smart to quit. I was too smart, too dumb to quit. Not saying I'm dumb, but in figuratively, a lot of people would. It's a lot of people who get discouraged when someone says they don't think it's going to work. But a lot of people ask or share because they're looking for validation.
So
Have you?
why is it okay to quit your job? It's okay to quit your job. Excuse me, you can't quit your job. Let me restate that. It's
Right.
bad to quit your job, but it's okay to quit your dream. Why do people say you should just quit your dream, but keep on working that job and work that job until you die?
Programming, like you said, is programming.
So the reason why I don't have a job is because I can't accomplish what I want to do in a job. Because people at the job, when you have good ideas, they say, "Hey, look, that's not what this is about. We don't want to be more efficient. We don't want to be more productive because we'll put ourselves out of a job. We're working till 5 o'clock. We're working at you get into work, you're working to your break, you're working to your lunch, you're working to dinner, and then you're working to your death."
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think it's like a crazy percentage where it's like 90% of people who are on their deathbeds, they always say, I wish I would have time with my family. I wish I would have traveled more. And they always think about all the things they wish and would have, could have, but they sacrifice so much for their job. And I don't know why they do it, but I think it's a fear of success in some aspects or a fear of stepping into what they're supposed to do.
Well, they don't want to do what it takes to do that. It's like a job is easy because they're paying you for your time, But that time is the most valuable thing you have. It's more valuable than money.
Yes, you can't get it back. I had
Like,
two friends this year, it's only May, who just randomly died. My age. And it's like there's nothing more valuable than the time. Like the time that we spent became so much bigger than anything that we've ever that I might have missed or what have you, because they're no longer physically here with me, you know?
mhm.
So I think that uh definitely people need to remember time is the most valuable thing for sure. Um, but you for sure have a lot of different things that you do. And shout
Mhm.
out to Miss Sarah, your beautiful wife. I saw she was just
Well,
celebrating a
she's
birthday.
my partner.
Yes,
Yesterday, this was pretty cool. So we were having a conversation. I was telling my origin story. I probably should have recorded it, then I never have to go on a podcast again. Or because it's exhausting, telling about your why.
yeah,
But I do it because I want to help other people. But I said, well, the reason why Sarah helps me with everything I do is because she has the same philosophy of life that I do. And she said, well, the reason why I do it is because I want to do it for you, because you want to do it, and that's why I want to do it. And
mm.
that's an example. I'm tearing up, but
Oh, Steven, I
yeah, it's
didn't do that.
this is all very important to me. This is not what I'm telling you guys is not bullshit. But I'm a giver, and there's a lot of givers out there, and givers end up with takers.
Oh, yes,
And the reason why they end up with takers is they're willing to receive. So and you give to them, you give to them to give, and you give to them. The problem is they never give back. So you're never replenished, and you end up becoming absolutely depleted.
yes, yes. I've had
Whereas
that
when
experience. Yes,
Yeah, so when you end up with a giver though, whether that be, your your spouse, your significant other, or a business partner or a friend, it changes everything
yeah,
because you are constantly having your cup refilled with water.
yeah,
You're constantly being replenished, and that's what leads to being content and happy. If you are not content where you are right now, I'm sorry, don't try to get on the path to success.
yeah,
Try to be content and happy first.
yeah, yeah,
Learn what your why is. Like when you were a little kid, there were, you might have wanted to be a fireman or a ballerina, or you might have, if you really dig deeper, you said, I just want to be happy,
mhm,
and I want people to love me, and I want to love people. And everything, when you concentrate on that, then you'll be successful. Because everything else, it's not, the amount doesn't amount to a hill of beans, really.
yeah, yeah. It's nothing.
Yeah.
I say it's nothing like when you love somebody, but somebody loves you back. Why do you think givers? Well, I guess it's the polar opposite to why we attract takers. But do you think something shifts within us as givers for us to, in order to attract another giver?
Well, I think that's gaining emotional intelligence and maturity and experience.
Yeah,
I think that being in a relationship with a taker is what's going to prepare you to be discerning on where you spend your time. Now, I would love to give my time to everyone. My time's limited, and I
yeah,
used to help people that were try to help people that were unhelpable. That's the first group of people that I got rid of. And then some people, it just requires too much work for me to help them. And because of my mission to help millions of people, that's who I want to help. I want to help millions of people. I want to have that type of impact. There are some people that I may have helped in the past that I can't make room for. But then again, I'm trying to infuse millions of people in my belief system. This is my religion.
mm,
It sounds almost cultic, but it isn't. But if I can, I'm sure I've had impact on you that you have taken and shared with other people. That's how I can best leverage my time. So you become a tool when you meet someone and you bring them into your circle. they become a tool for you to spread your philosophy on success.
Yeah.
And it compounds itself, right? Success is contagious. That was
Yes.
the name of my first networking event. And it's the way I lead my life. Anything that I have, I want to share that with
I
people.
I have goosebumps because I'm thinking of this interview I was watching with Oprah and Maya Angelou, and she was sharing with her. Well, Oprah was saying, "Oh, I want to leave a legacy," but she was only thinking her legacy was the immediate folk, right? Her family and all of that. But the way you describe, like, I'm literally shaking because it literally brought exactly what it was like you were speaking, and you can really understand her philosophy of that. No, your legacy is each person that you touch. And definitely, like, the way that you were so generous, the way that you were so willing to let people connect, do business, and all of that, it definitely put a, oh my God, because when you're like, sometimes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, some people sometimes can make you feel like there's no good people left in the world. The world tries to make you believe that. But
That
then you meet someone like you, and it's like, there's more of us.
Right, exactly. And I'm trying to connect those people. That's what I'm doing. I'm connecting all the rock stars, not just the hosts. So the problem for people that are entrepreneurs, the people that want to create things, we are doing it for more than ourselves. We're doing it not because we are not selfish. People that just want to make money, they're selfish, but they're not entrepreneurs in my mind.
No.
So the problem is we have even the people that love us the most sometimes can be our worst enemies. They don't
Yeah.
understand us. They don't have the same mentality that we do. And we try and we put all our effort on trying to change their opinion of us and our ideas. I got to tell you now, and it took me a long time, that's wasted effort.
Yeah.
When you interact with those people, you love them and you treat them with love and respect. But when you talk to them, don't talk about what you're passionate about because they seem to, it feels like their job is to smash your dreams. So
Yeah.
don't talk about your dreams with them. Find the people that have dreams because those people that are talking to you, they're damaged. They
Yeah.
can't support your dreams. So
Right.
when you network, you're looking for other people that are just like you. And when you say things and they go, my gosh, that's exactly the way I feel and the way I've thought my entire life. And I didn't think anybody thought that way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so you choose your family at
Yeah.
that point. The people that are going to be supportive of you. And those people may never be able to build their business. They may never become rich, but that doesn't make a difference. They're related to you because they try
Yeah.
and they have dreams.
Yeah.
So for me, the person that tries is a success.
And what's his name?
And they're
What's the guy's
happy when they're doing it. They have to be happy when they're doing it. Because you know what? If someone is not happy, I discourage them from going on this path. They're not
Yeah.
ready for it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because imagine an unhappy person, and you mentioned it earlier, where you have these successful people who off themselves and they have all this money, but if they're not happy, then imagine what legacy that they're touching with the access that they have with their money. It's like almost dangerous, as you know. And so definitely, I think happiness is so key, and we overlook it because we are, I think, programmed, and also we just, like you said, not in the now.
Well, that's really difficult. So it's like I'm gonna my path to success is when I'm successful, I'm gonna be happy. Why don't you start off by being happy?
So this the concept you're talking about is be do have versus have do be. Most people need to have it to be it versus just be it and you'll have it. Almost like break it till you make it, but actually the fact that I am very grateful to be here.
Well, I mean, you're a Facebook marketplace person like me, and a thrifter, and you know I'm not a coupon cutter, but I like
Me
a good
neither.
deal. I like a good bargain. And I like to save my time because my time is very valuable. I use Instacart. I hire people to do stuff. I don't feel anybody should do anything they don't like. So if you're on your path to entrepreneurship and there's something that's really painful and you hate it, that's God telling you that's the part you should not be doing.
Hire someone. Do you think there's a
Or go to a networking event and find someone who gets joy from that. There are people that love that stuff. Why don't you connect with them and let them have joy and happiness? And then you concentrate on what you're happy doing.
I think there's a phase in entrepreneurship where you do get to a point of being okay with delegating, because that was a challenge for me in the beginning. And you know, delegation means you have to give access to someone something, in regards to your baby, in a sense, which
Yeah.
is the idea. But I do think there is another level when you can be collaborative, where you trust that person is going to do the thing in which you
Well,
don't want to do.
it's that's funny because all the time people ask you to sign NDAs and they talk about intellectual property. Well, guess what? There's absolutely nothing new under the sun, and they're
Nothing.
going to do it differently than you are. And if you believe in what you're doing, don't you want other people to do it?
Yeah.
Sarah and I were on another call earlier today in front of a few hundred people that are field force, a sales force, and Sarah and I believe in a lot of the same things. And if you had 1% or a percent of the percent of the percent of all the business that was out there, you couldn't handle that business.
Mm.
Also, the success that doesn't come to you, the business that doesn't come to you, that wasn't your business anyway. All the business that belongs to you will come to you. And if you're happy, you know what? When you're happy, people like you. They want to be around you. And they're
Yes.
going to send that opportunity to you. And you just have to be ready to pick it up. It's like, we plant seeds, but God makes them grow.
Yes.
And
Ooh,
when
that's
they're and
preaching.
when they come out of the ground, you got to pick them or they'll rot.
They will rot if you don't pick it. That's the
If you
daggone
don't
truth.
pick it, they will rot. So I would like people to just reframe things. But what I love to do, I don't know how much longer we have on this call, but that being said, I just want to give you some some business tricks that you can apply and
I
how
would
you
like
can
to hear
grow a
that.
network and how you can be successful. If you'd like that, I'll do that for you. But what you want to do is when you're asking people to become part of your circle and part of your life, give them a task to do. Ask them for a favor that they can easily achieve. Ask them for a favor. Maybe they can introduce you to someone. They can give you a phone number. They can leave a review for you. Just don't ask them for money because that's the hardest thing to ask for.
Yeah.
And when you don't ask them for money, they go, "Woo, he didn't
Woo!
ask me for money. You want me to
Question
do
you,
that? That's easy.
Alex.
I can do that." So what you've done is that point is you've given them the opportunity to be successful. And you're the one that made them successful. So now they did you a favor, but they're actually indebted to you.
Mm,
And now they're
mm.
part of your circle. So many people are disappointed in people because they put their whole business on someone else. That's not that person's dream.
Right. You're never going to do what you would do. That's just like a parent. No
Yeah,
one's
that's
going to take
crazy.
care of their child better than the parent.
Right, but you know what? You could ask someone, "Hey, can you pick up my child today from
That's
school so I can
already
have this
me.
meeting?"
Right.
Sure, I'll do that. Hey, when you go to the grocery store next time, do you mind picking up the cream for me? Because I can't stop my day. Yeah, I can do that. Do you mind reading this letter that I wrote and give me your opinion? These are easy things that are very valuable. And if you have a large network, imagine if you had 50 people doing little tiny tasks, that adds up to a big thing.
Yeah.
And then you can see the people that are actually skilled at keeping their word. And those are the people you can bring into your confidence and you can build big things with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these networks, people expect a network to happen overnight. You may be planting seeds now for a tree that's not going to grow for 10, 20 years.
Right.
But be confident that those seeds are going to bear fruit.
And treat each opportunity each seed with care. Because a lot of people, when you get too caught up in, I used to say, don't get caught up in the sale. If it was a transaction, because if this doesn't pan out, but I treat this person with respect and not treat them in any kind of way like a number. If they don't feel like a number, you never know.
Well, I mean, I'm a social worker at heart. That's where I started out. I was a social worker.
Oh, I never knew
In
that.
social work, what you do is versus like a doctor tells you what to do, a nurse tells you what to do. A social worker gathers all the options that are out there, limits them to the best options, and then helps you select amongst the best options, helps you make a decision.
Mhm.
And it's usually the decision that you want to make anyway. Right? Because if you garner options, you have options. If nobody helps you find the options, you have no options and you
Right.
can't. So it also applies to sales. This is what you have. You don't have to sell anything in sales. What you're doing is you're providing education. All sales is permission based. You are giving people permission to do what they want to do anyway. You are standing in the place of the people that used to give them permission, and you are accomplishing that and standing in that role because people know, like, and trust you.
And people buy you before anything, for sure.
Right.
So,
Well, they don't have to buy. They don't have to buy anything. They just need to be able
well,
to make decisions. Decisions are tough.
yeah,
Decisions are tough, but they know what you're giving them the permission to make their own decision.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I believe in you and I trust you in your decision. That's unusual, because when you're growing up, you hope your parents will do that, and sometimes they do, but frequently, they're just children like you are. They're gonna fail.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
know what? You know what? Blame everything on your parents. Forgive them, and then move on and take responsibility for your actions. Because
absolutely.
your parents have taught you something, even when they did the wrong thing, they still taught you.
Yeah, yeah,
Because Einstein said the definition of insanity is to try the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
yeah. I
So
love.
that's on you. Like if your mom and dad did some mistakes and you repeat those same mistakes, poo
Yeah,
on you. And I mean, I do it sometimes too. And I go, wow, I'm making that same mistake. I better roll that back.
yeah,
And
right.
it's hard because we have an ego. And the ego is not a bad thing, but it can prevent you from being successful. In order to be a rock star, in order to be successful, you have to be charismatic and you have to bring people to your belief system and find the people that believe the way you believe, but you can't be arrogant.
Mm-mm.
But you got to bump right up against the line of arrogance.
Yeah, because you have to be as confident to not let people take you out of your focus of your dream. So you
Right.
do, and some people take that as arrogant, like, "Oh, I thank you for your opinion, but I'm not going to listen to you." And
No,
some people get offended by confidence, but confidence is confidence.
well, I was working with a company. I was affiliated with them, and the broker. This was in real estate. Brought me to the office and if 50% of the people don't like you, that means 50% of the people like you.
Mm,
And if 50% of the people like you in the United States, you could be president of the United States.
yeah,
And if you're not complaining about them and they're complaining about you, who really has the problem? So don't be caught up in the way other people think about you, because no matter what, there's going to be people that you're not going to be their flavor. And you can't change yourself from chocolate into vanilla to please other people, because now you're vanilla and all the people that like chocolate don't like you.
what if I told you I used to be a people pleaser and I used to try to be whatever flavor that the person wanted to be, and then what happened? You build resentment because you're not being who you're really supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm a people pleaser myself too. But I learned that I don't please everyone. And I leaned into my personality exactly the way I am, my authentic self. So if the people that love chocolate can find me.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
So I want to let everybody know I'm chocolate and I'm not vanilla, because the people that like vanilla, they'll find vanilla somewhere else. But if
Yeah.
they want chocolate, I got the best taste in chocolate there is.
And some people, they don't look at it like food, where some people like steak, some people don't. Some people like their matter of fact, some people
Some
eat it.
people like it hot, some people like it cold.
Some
It's
people like
like
it medium rare. Some people like it rare and bloody. Some people like it well done.
and a million permutations in between. So just be your authentic self and find your tribe. That's how you find your tribe. And it is so interesting though. Almost all entrepreneurs at their base are the same. Maybe they're all chocolate.
Yeah.
And that's why we get along with one another. When we meet one another, we get excited.
Like, oh my God, my people.
Exactly. Like you do something. You do
Yeah.
something that's yours that you created and you're happy for them. You're not jealous.
No, because when you have the view of not, and it's not even more so if they can do it, I can do it. It's just a example or reminder that this is possible, and to think that it's possible for you is insane.
It's not even a question of possible because you don't even have to complete. You know, you're no less successful if you were to die tomorrow. You tried, you did something, you got to do something, because doing something is what impacts mood.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
feel better.
depressed, go take a walk, do a push-up, call a friend, and your mood is immediately going to improve. And that's one more step to that path to happiness. And when you're happy, you've succeeded. Let's get on to the quote of the day.
Yeah, let me get, because I don't want to hold you hostage. The quote of the day is by Lou Holtz, which is, "Your talent determines what you do. Your motivation determines how much you are willing to do it, and your attitude determines how well you do it."
Well,
When
I
you
think we already answered this question with that call, right? This call.
the whole thing.
And I didn't even know what the quote was.
No. And I didn't pick, when I picked the quote, it was right before the show. So this was not planned, but we basically talked about this the entire show.
So I'm going to turn this back on you, this quote. The conversation we just had, how does it demonstrate the truthfulness of this quote?
It did, because the main thing that we talked about was the key to success is happiness. And if you're happy, you're going to have the right attitude. You just are. And, I don't want to sound like the cliche quote lady, but your attitude does determine your altitude, which means that you are going to have the results of what you put out. Garbage in, garbage out. So if you are, now, don't get me wrong, talent is just what you're good at. And there's a lot of talented, unsuccessful people.
Right. I mean, to me, someone that's enslaved to someone else, and I'm sorry to say this, guys, you're in my version of life, that would not be a success for me. Might be great for you, but I would rather take my talent and use it to serve other people, not to make my boss rich.
No, no.
Uh,
And
because Go
sorry, I
ahead.
didn't cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to use my talent to make other people rich. My motivation is to make everybody rich. And when I'm saying rich, not in money, but in satisfaction with themselves and to make them happy. And my return on investment is people love me. Not everyone loves me because I'm not their flavor. They don't like chocolate.
Some people don't like me either, Steve. I'll be like, me, really?
But,
But I don't know.
that's okay.
Sometimes you
That's
do
okay.
nothing and they still don't like you.
But I'll tell you though, the people that cook like you and me, we like a lot more flavors than other people.
Ow.
Right? So we're open to a lot more of different types of people, and we value other people more because of that.
Yeah. A lot of,
And as far as the attitude, if you do that and you see that when you surround yourself like with like-minded individuals, you feel good and you're happy and you can do things with them. And really the sky is the limit.
yeah, it's not draining being around like minded people for sure. It's whenever I'm around people like you and who have that spirit, it feels almost electrifying versus I need to go by myself now. And, even though I love to recharge alone either way, you know what I mean? Like it's definitely very elating. So I'm not going to hold you hostage. I think this is going to be an incredible show. It's going to air very soon. I'll have all the clips and everything coming out. But Stephen, what if you had anything else to say that you might have forgot? And let us know of any events. I know I got to go on there because there's so many Rockstar events.
I mean, they're all over the country. So.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, I would go to the group on Facebook and literally, okay, Planet Tuesday. You should always be on Tuesday, plan or whatever. And then now you go, it's like, I could be in South Carolina and go. I could be in California and go. But tell us.
What I want you to know, and that's probably a good thing to state, is if the people that go to a Rockstar Connect event, and you will meet like-minded individuals that are going to make you happy. Mm-hmm. That's it. Everything else is extra. It's just extra. Extra's good, but it's not necessary. Yeah. Surround yourself with people like yourself, and you're going to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And, being with people that make you feel good, that transcends religion and color and sexual orientation. The world is your oyster.
Right.
I can go anywhere in the world, and I can make a friend and a colleague and find people that are going to make me happy.
That's beautiful. Well, Steven, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. You have always been an incredible person as a reference. Anytime I ask you help with anything, you are there. And if you can't help me, you always direct me to someone who can. No matter if the result is at the moment it works out or not, you always are there as a tool to the world. So I appreciate you. And just as a general reminder to everyone, we have a new episode that drops every single Sunday at midnight. We're on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. The main shows are on YouTube and Facebook, the whole show, but you can find our clips and all of that on all platforms. And if you're just into the audio and you just want to listen, we're on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts and all that jazz. So definitely stay tuned for our next show. Thank you again, Steve. I think we lost him for a second, but we appreciate you for coming on. And until next time, love, peace, and hair grease.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of THOTS Podcast, True Honest Opinions Towards Success. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. And don't forget to leave us a review, share your thoughts in the comments, and your reviews literally help us to improve and create content that resonate with you. Until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Bye.